guys see myself now? All right. I think we might. Okay. I think we might be live here. Let me see. Manage participants. Copy invite link. All right. I'm sending you a link here in private chat. So you can go to the studio and then let me send. Can you check the front? Are we live on X? Let's see. If we're live on X. Hold on. Okay, it looks like I'm live on X. It looks like I'm live on X now. And it seems to be working. Okay, Brett wants to join. Let me share my screen. All right, we got to get this. We got to get the. We got to send the front end link now to everybody. So we're live on YouTube too, apparently. Here we go. Okay.
I got the YouTube.
You got the YouTube? All right, put it in.
Yeah, I got all that.
Put that in the studio. Where's my screen? Okay, is the screen share showing? Let's see. Okay, there we go. Now we got the screen share showing. Well, that looks weird. Okay. I think we're live. This is crazy. All right, and then I got to send this link to Alan. 1 second. Copy link. And let me head on over to.
Awesome. Let's go. They can hear us.
They can hear us. All right.
Yes.
Wait, I just gotta take care of Alan Evans here.
Oh, I gotta delete some other links from the other thing.
Yeah,
that I posted for
yeah.
them.
Maybe
Give me
delete
1
all
second.
that. All right, take care of all that.
Oh, jeez.
Difficulties. All right, we had technical difficulties with StreamYard. We're now using Rumble Studio, so that's a good thing that Rumble has that here. Let me just update the calendar invite for Alan Evans for 10 a.m. Let's see here. Instead of StreamYard, we're using this studio. Okay, and sending that over. Whew. All right, Shai can hear. What's this? All right, so let's just. Sorry, guys. We just got to take a couple seconds. If you can delete, maybe you should delete all of those posts and make a new post.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, we're live on X, so there's actually a, let me see if there's a tweet. Yeah, I created it. There it is. There's the thing. Okay, so let me just repost this one and say new link. And top stocks we're talking about today will be MOBQURE. We'll be talking about BYRN, talking about CXW and Geo, and maybe some Tesla, Bitcoin, Mara, and then follow. I'm just doing for my personal account. You can do the story trading up, followed by UMAC CEO interview at 10 a.m. EST. Okay. All right, guys. Got no fancy music to play for you or anything. We're in a different studio. Rhett, let me know when you're ready to go.
Just go ahead, Ben. Start it off.
All right. There is some stuff in, there's some text banners under studio text if we need that. But in any case, all right, we're starting. Ready? Pretend we got some music playing, and boom, everyone, here we go. It's December. Gee, I need the music to get hyped up, man. All right. It's Tuesday, December 10th, starting your pre-market prep late here at 9:20 a.m. because of technical issues over at StreamYard. All right, yesterday, I was talking about yesterday, it was pretty much one of my hardest days, probably of the year. We had a gap and fade on most of our top picks, but the worst part of it for me was the ER. I got suckered in by MongoDB yesterday, buying it all the way up here because they beat their EPS guide by 15 to 30%, depending on looking at the quarter or the year EPS guide. But then the conference call just killed it. So I got hurt really bad yesterday, went in with big size. So anyway, we're going to recover from that. That's how the markets work. You don't go up in a straight line. You're going to have some hiccups. So we had a hiccup yesterday. Today, we got a bunch of top picks for you. Of course, we got our drone list here. All right. UMAC, we'll be interviewing the CEO of UMAC. You know what happened there. We were all over this big move, but we had a pullback we didn't expect, much bigger than I thought. So we're going to be talking to the CEO of UMAC about a lot of things and seeing if we can get some clarity on what's going to be happening next. But Mobilecom, all right, we got to talk about Mobilecom first. As far as our top picks, we got Catalyst and Mobilecom, QURE, Burn, Core Civic. All right, we got Catalyst in all of these. MOB. This is, I had a position going in. If you've been following us, you know that, I think, and also Godfather thinks probably, this is one of the cheapest. This is one of the cheapest. Oh, you know what? I got to give the studio a link to the Godfather too. He may be joining us for the CEO interview, but this is probably the cheapest and best stock from a financial perspective, meaning their balance sheet, their revenue, their growing revenues. It's $15 million. It's trading like probably less than one time their EV to sales. Ridiculous. This morning, they had a press release. This is the first press release of a new order since all the.
Oh, and we lost Ben.
I'm right here.
All right. You just
You hear
froze
me?
for like a solid 30 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
Anyway, targets on MOB are going to be, now where's my, okay, 3, then 333 for today. 3 and 333. We're 261 by 265 right now. Those are the two targets for today, but I'm looking for a swing to $4 to $6. I'm looking to get into this range once this thing gets found. It easily deserves to be trading up at those levels. Then we have QURE. This is a stock that I think Ali alerted to us this morning. I don't know much about it. They got some positive news from the FDA, alignment on accelerated path. And then we got Stifel and Cantor Fitzgerald both saying this is like the best case for QURE with big price targets. Cantor Fitzgerald says aggressively buy QURE. This is some biotech gene therapy for, I think, Huntington disease. All right, let's just quickly here look at the technicals. We're 1384 by 1388. You got this candle that is looking to gap above at the open 1135. After 1135, my target's going to be the bottom of this candle or the 200-week moving average. So that's 1801, 200-week moving average at 1718. So $17 to $18 possible target on QURE with maybe support at $11.35. Thank you, Ali, for that idea, QURE. Then we have Burn, which I own in my long-term account. Really great company, good financials, growing quickly, selling their non-lethal guns. This morning, they come out pre-announcing earnings of revenue of 28 million versus consensus of 24 million. That's a pretty big beat. Also, they just upgraded their full year revenue guidance by about the same amount, by 4 million or so, 86 million versus 81.5 million, something like that. So nice big beat. This previously was at 22.12. Okay, so I think we can make a run possibly for those levels. 21 to 22 today. Pick some up additional shares, at least trading shares, I should say, because I have it in my long-term account, but I picked up trading shares at 19.50 this morning. Burn's going to make it into the top 5. CXW, well, I like Geo better than CXW, and I think these two will generally move together. These are immigration stocks, but we got an upgrade out of CXW this morning. You can see the strength here this morning. I think it was a $30 price target. Let's see, from Wedbush. Upgrades Core Civic on need for ICE beds under Trump. Where is their upgrade for Geo? It's probably coming if it's not out there yet, but they've upgraded their price target from $19 to $30. Okay, $19 to $30 on Core Civic CXW. That's going to be in the top 5. Let's see if we can get a sympathy move in Geo. I'm basically kind of maxed out. I was planning on adding CXW this morning, but when he got the news in MOB and QURE and Burn, I decided to go on those 3. I already have exposure in Geo. So hopefully if CXW goes up, it'll drag Geo up with it. Or maybe there's an upgrade out there from Wedbush that's about to hit the wires at some point. So, all right, those are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 top picks. A little bit of news on Mara. Mara this morning. First of all, they got an upgrade from JP Morgan, raised going from neutral to buy. Yeah, neutral to upgrades Mara Holdings to neutral. Wow, they were at sell. Underweight to neutral. So JP Morgan goes underweight to neutral with a $23 price target. Also, they gave an update this morning about additional Bitcoin they bought from the recent offering they did. So Mara might be in play today. And boy, we've been all over Tesla, but yesterday was hard from a trading perspective unless he held through the middle of the day on trading shares. Actually, I got shaken out with some TSL calls, but I bought them back in the afternoon. So let's see. My predictions on Tesla, all-time new high coming, proximal to inauguration. Looks like it could happen sooner than that. All right, so those are the top picks for you. Let's just make sure at this point we got comments are working. Let's make sure the links are working. I got to send a new studio link out. So sorry for the technical difficulties here this morning. Rhett, what's on your mind with those top picks?
I'm really liking them a lot, but I only have one concern for you, Ben.
Yeah,
You're
go ahead.
saying it's saying the banners and stuff. Since I'm a guest or whatever, I don't see any of that. So that
Oh, you're a
falls into
guest. Oh, right. I don't know how
yeah.
to.
So I
I don't
have
even know how to
nothing.
make you. I don't know how to. How do I even make you something? All right. Let's see. Add new text. Let's see. Let's see what this is. Text scrolls horizontally. All right. So we got to put something like here we go. UMAC CEO interview. Alan Evans at 10 a.m. Eastern. Let's see if that works. All right. Um, let's go. How do we go live with that? Oh, is it going? It's
It's
black.
a yeah. It's black.
It's black and it's at the top. Oh my god! How do I even change that? Jeez. I don't even see an option. I don't even see an option to change this. All right. Oh my gosh. Let's see. There's edit. There's ticker. I don't even know what to do. It's down there in black. Why is it in black? I don't even know. All right. This is crazy. I got to get a link over to let me get a link over to um Godfather.
I already sent it to him.
Oh, you sent him the new link? Rumble
Yeah.
Studio? Okay, so he can join at 10 if he wants to help with questions. And hopefully Alan Evans will get my memo about the new link. And let me see if I can upgrade you, promote to moderator. All right, I just promoted you to moderator. So I don't know if that gives you the options to control these banners.
Let's see.
Oh, Rumble won some business today, huh? Let's see. Rumble Studio, guys. All right, let's see.
Nothing yet. I'll look at it.
Um, under Studio, there's live chat on the right hand side. Then we have Studio, and then we have campaigns.
Nope, none of that for me.
Oh, so your moderator. I don't know what moderator gives you. I guess that's different than co-host. But let's see. Manage participants. Brett Foster. Ingresses. No
I don't know,
ingress.
but we got 1 minute left, Ben. So have you finalized these top picks?
Yeah. I'll go.
Yeah,
These are my
okay.
top picks. I don't know about the. You have any thoughts on the order of these top picks? We got MOBQURE, Burn, and then let's say CXW/Geo. Those are the top 4, 5. Yeah, I mean Mara
Awesome.
looks interesting, but I don't know. You want to put Mara in there, top 5? We could do that if you want.
We'll keep the community alert about that one.
So MOBQURE, Burn, then CXW/Geo. Put them as a group there. CXW is gearing up to buy it at 22.60 this morning before all that news came out. All right. So you guys trade. I don't think I can trade right now. I got to figure out the technicals of this studio. Rhett,
I'm just
maybe.
sending out the top picks, and then I'm probably not
All
going
right.
to trade at the moment.
All
So.
right, guys. So you can take a look at our screens. Unfortunately, we got some technical issues to still figure out here. Let me see if I can fix the banner. CXW really doing well. I'm loaded up on Geo calls though. Let's see if Geo can be dragged up with that. All right, let me see what I can do with this banner over here. Media. Geo. Wow, look at CXW go. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm busy trying to get the audio video ready for the 10 a.m. UMAC video. So where would it be?
Vinny had a nice bounce in pre-market off that 137.27 again, ripping this morning. App down again, 1% after being down like almost 14% yesterday. Let's see what else. You're showing something.
Yeah, I'm trying to find those videos that we have on StreamYard. I'm trying to find them and upload them to Rumble Studio.
I mean, I have all those like super easily accessible.
But you can't.
But I can't do
upload 'em.
anything, and then I can't send them on WhatsApp because you can't download them.
I should be able to download them. But hold on, let me see where the. Hold on, I'm gonna try to. I have it on my desktop somewhere.
Yep, there that goes.
Must be this one. All right, here we go. We're gonna do. This is where. I don't even find this intro, outro, explainer. Intro, outro, explainer is where. How do I know the path? Story trading presentations. Let's see if this works.
Now flipping to green. Your big red day. Look at that. 6W performing nice.
I know. I really.
I know it sucks.
Oh, okay. That's okay. I'm in geocalls. There we go. Up 3.8%. All right. All right. Now I got. Okay. Let's see. Intro video. See if this works. That worked?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so look at CXW up 7%. All right, we got Geo. That's good. Tesla up 1.7%. Got some TSLL calls going from yesterday. That's looking good. MOB, I was looking for better, but we'll see if that crawls back up. And Burn, we're up $1 a share on. Let's look at this Geo chart. 29.86 we got to break out of. CXW, wow, nice breakout over there. That's beautiful. All right, now how do I fix this banner? Let me see how I can fix this banner. Oh, OPTT is down. Jeez. UMAC is up 8%. PDYN doing good. RCAT's down. A lot of these drone stocks headed to the 20 DMA, it looks like. All right. I need to fix this. Need to fix this. Edit.
It's like Bitcoin got rejected off that 98,132 level again.
Font color. Are they going to make me do equals white? How about that?
Still black.
I'm trying to put in code in here. Font. Can you do you mind really quickly doing a search? Maybe use ChatGPT. I don't know. Like, how do we change the color of the text in Rumble Studio? Text banners.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
Burn looking good. Look at Tesla. I think I might Let me see what I got on these Tesla TSLL 188. Oh, I'm up on these TSLL calls. I got like destroyed on TSL yesterday, so I'm just gonna take my profits for now. At least let me sell 8 of them. I'll just track 2 of them. Okay, MOB coming up, looking good.
No, it's not giving me. Okay, navigate by clicking on the Channels tab and selecting Edit.
Channels tab, channels.
Navigate to your Rumble channels setting by clicking on the Channels tab and selecting Edit on the channel you wish to modify.
Oh no, this is Rumble Studio. That sounds like the text for just your
Yeah.
channel. You're searching Rumble Studio?
Yeah, how do I change the banner color on Rumble Studio?
It says navigate where?
Says, where did it go? Navigate to your Rumble channel setting.
Rumble channel settings. Hold on. Rumble.com channel settings. My channels. Manage. Chat settings. Creator dashboard. Live streaming. Live stream. Static stream keys. Templates. I don't know.
No idea. And also, is there a way for us to record this one or no?
It should be being recorded on YouTube, because we're live on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that is true. Pull it from there.
Yeah. How about the theme? How do you add a new theme?
Q's just broke. Nice little.
Oh, I have to have a theme. All right, create a new theme. All right. Story trading theme. Color. Let's see if this works. That's a code for white. That's black. All right, let's try this one. Overlays, live chat, display chat on top of stream. Huh.
I mean, that's what it's doing now.
Oh, display name of the participants. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. I'm on to something. I'm on to something.
There you go.
So I got
now it's gray. Now it's gray.
I need the color code for white. You know what the here, color code white. FF. It's all Fs. All right. So it's FF. All right. Let's save that.
Bingo. Let's go.
Is that white?
Yep, it's white.
Um.
Look, we're becoming professional streamers, Ben.
In real time, we're learning how to use Rumble Studio. It says UMAC CEO interview. It's hard to read though.
It is. Put it at the top. Let's see where it looks there because that's.
Hold on. Wait a second. That looks better there.
Yeah, that is a lot better.
But then we lose our presentation. Okay, hold on. How do I put it at the top now? Let me see. I'll go to edit.
Yeah, there it goes.
Top. Let's try that. All right. How about that? You see that now?
Yeah, that's a lot better. But then you have those other. Then you have those other things. The people.
Oh, here goes Tesla. I just sold 80% of my TSLL calls. All right, that's right. I got like 2 symbolic ones left. QURE looking nice over here. Let's review our targets on QURE. Oh, that's so obvious, man. This is a magnet. QURE is going higher. 17 to 18 were the targets on QURE. Yeah. BYRN now up almost $2 on BYRN. Target was 22. I said 21 to 22 was the target. Maybe I might take some BYRN off the table here. Take a win. Gave back too much yesterday morning. All right, so BYRN. Actually, I'm pretty confident we're going to get to all-time new highs today. I got to be honest with you. Above 22.12 or at least 52-week high, whatever that is. I was a little traumatized by yesterday, so I'm gonna take this like a $2,000 profit if it goes through at 2150. High was 2157, and oh, I missed it. Someone just front ran me. Okay. All right. You know what? Okay, I'll take a $1,500 profit. Let's go. Did that go through? All right, got a $1,500 profit there on BYRN. All right, so
approaching 400 again on Tesla.
oh yeah, nice. I got 2 TSLL calls left. That's it. Big comeback in MBIS today. So let's move Tesla over to the top as we
Same with apps coming back as well.
You know, I've never traded app. I missed that whole thing. I don't even know what they do. I never even looked at the chart. I don't know why. I just like never looked into it and I missed out.
The Godfather brought that to my attention around like $50 a share.
Yeah, that's crazy. I totally missed this.
I think I bought at 60, sold at like 80 or something like that, and
yeah,
that's when I kicked myself in the foot for.
QURE is honestly looking incredible for those targets. There we go. Now I know why I sold. I sold the other ones so I could buy. I sold Burn, took a profit there so I could buy more QURE because I think 17 to 18 is where we're going on QURE. So
Meta's looking nice.
There we go. Over 16 now. 16, 13, 16, 12. I guess I should probably put in some limit sell orders on QURE. So let me see if I can take care of that now. QURE. It's what did I say? 17 to 18 is the target. So we'll sell some at 1697 to start. All right, 1697. And we're forgetting about the drone stocks. UMAC is up 11%, guys. UMAC up 11%. Was there any news or just people waiting for our interview? I don't know.
Let me check.
All right. And RCAT right off. Oh, we predicted this last night, and it did it. That's a great spot to get into RCAT, man. Right off that 20 DMA. That's beautiful. UMAC also starting to turn. These drone stocks may have found a bottom here, guys. Let me move RCAT to our main list. We'll move UMAC over to the top of our main list. PDYN also looking nice. So we'll move this over to the top of our main list. And of course, we have MOB already over there. Very surprising OPTT. I guess it wants to touch the 20 before taking off. So, all right. So we got these drone stocks bouncing off that key 20 DMA and running. QURE just got halted to the upside. I have a sell order at 1697. Maybe I should put that higher. All right, let's see. Have people found the new stream on X? Right, how many people are watching? 335?
Well, we got 30 people on here. X doesn't display on here for some reason.
It's 335. Yeah, 30 is the YouTube. Watching it. You can look it up right on X. So 336 now. Okay. So, all right. So let me just make sure Alan Evans got the new link. New link at 10 a.m. Let me just check my email. All right.
Let's make sure everyone in the Discord.
I think we're good to go. Technically, we just got to put out that new link. Can you make sure to put that new link for the UMAC interview on StockTwits as well?
I already did.
Okay, awesome.
I updated it. I can't delete my other one though, so that's the only.
Oh well, if they care, they'll figure it out, right? Whoever really cares about it will figure it out.
Just gonna make another post.
All right, Tesla's over 400 now. I think I'm just gonna hang. I just have 2 TSLL calls. Just hang on to those. And there we go. It would have filled if I had patience, right? Burn heading over to the probably a break of 2212 at this point. Yeah, I think Burn is gonna break 2212 today. Get to new highs. All right. All right. What are we looking at here? QURE and MOB. ASTS coming back. Joby, some news this morning, up 3%, 877. It was a nice bit of news, but very rich valuation for Joby. All right. These two, I got to say, still are probably my two favorite for the day. MOB, QURE, PDYN looking okay. And Burn, let me move Burn up. Make that number 3. All right, it's 9:47 a.m. Let me just check my emails. I'm going to email Alan Evans.
Let me see what's the deal with StreamYard.
Switch to Rumble.
Ben, I think they'll be emailing you.
Who, StreamYard?
Mm-hmm.
Emailing me about what?
To resolve the issue.
Oh, well, maybe for tomorrow. All right, here we go. Burn heading over to a break of 22. Just did it. All right, Burn new high. Now let's look further up. Now that we broke that 22.12, I wonder what the short position is in Burn. Actually, it's pretty high. 5.8 days to cover. Short position's been increasing. Why would they increase the short position? This company has been executing like crazy. So wow. All right, I had to get back in. I had to get back in a little bit. Burn here. Can this go to like 24 plus? Possible. QURE reopened. Went down after that halt. And my sell order at 1697, so that didn't fill.
Look at that. The Q's play I called out. That's working out perfectly as well.
Oh, nice. Where you call it in the Discord?
No, just here saying.
Oh, nice. I missed that. All right. Tesla looking good. CXW looking better than Geo today with that upgrade from Wedbush.
Look at that.
Mara up 3%.
Distance right there.
Bouncing off the 20 DMA and ASTS after great news yesterday, following through a little bit here.
Tesla's still looking strong at 402. Let's see.
Scrolling down here, looks like we're in the right stocks. We put the right stocks at the top of the list. Nothing really going on down below. Okay. MOB, QURE, Burn, PDYN, Arcat. Wow, Tesla's going. What was yesterday's high? 404.80. So look, we're inches away from a new all-time high. I mean, it could happen today. 414.50. 414.50 is your new all-time high on Tesla. Yesterday's high 404.80. I think if you take out 404.80, you might make a beeline towards that 415. Similar to what we saw Friday after we broke 360 and made the beeline to 385. QURE pulling back. Oh, all right. Alan Evans is in the studio, but I don't. If I hit allow, does he come on?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, so we're just gonna wait. Hopefully, he can hear me. I don't know. So we're gonna bring him into the studio in 10 minutes, but he found his way here, so that's good. Maybe just tweet out Alan Evans is in the studio. We start in 10 minutes. CEO interview of UMAC. All right. Let's see how many people are watching on X now. Got 369. All right. Burn looking good. There we go. Here's UMAC up 7%. Hmm. Wait, hold on. Let me see something. How do I bring you? Let me see if I can. By clicking you, do I take you in and out of the studio? No. So you're either in the studio or you're out of the studio. I can't like bring you on and off the screen. That's retarded.
So yeah, I go like that.
Oh wait, how do you do that?
You just don't enable your camera. Turn it off.
Oh, but you're still talking. But I can't
Yeah, but
control
what?
your camera. All right, now you're muted. But I don't see an option to do that. Oh, I see a mute option, but I can't control your camera.
All right. Was the Godfather able to make it in?
No, not yet. QURE back on the way up over here. PDYN. I really like PDYN. I bought PDYN a couple days ago, so I probably down. I got a day early, maybe. Bouncing off the 20 DMA here today. A lot of these drone stocks bouncing off the 20 DMA. UMAC didn't quite make it there. RCAP bouncing off the 20 DMA. PDYN off the 20 DMA. PDYN trying OPTT trying to make it to the 20 DMA. UMAC looks like it has a nice little curl here. So maybe the worst of it's over. Hopefully, we'll see what Alan Evans has to tell the market about that. All right. We got 7 minutes. 7 minutes till interview time. Let me play with things. That's auto. What is that? No. That's solo. That's just me. That's duo. Presentation. Okay. And we got our camera up. We got our screen share up. All right. Okay, Rhett's on mute. How do I turn this off? Okay, stop screen share. All right. MOB disappointing me today. Back to where I made my first purchase in pre-market today at 259. MOB really deserves to be in the 4 to 6 range. This is my
Yeah, we're right
largest.
back down.
That's my largest trade position right now is MOB. Mobilecom.
Wow.
Looking at Geo versus CXW. Different charts, very different charts. But both above the 20 DMA. 5 minutes and counting to the UMAC interview. Guys, since we had those technical difficulties on StreamYard, we lost a good bunch of people. So make sure to take this link, whether you're watching on X or YouTube or wherever, and share that on social media, please. Share it on StockTwits, Discords you may be in, X, Reddit, wherever it is. Let's build up a nice audience for this interview coming up in just a couple minutes. And MOB, now I'm down on MOB here. 251, but I'm not going to get shaken on this. I've been holding this for a couple weeks. I added to my position this morning, but I'm going to continue holding this in nice size until we break out of this range and head on over to here. This is where we need to be. This is what the UMAC chart looked like before they got found. Mobileye, I think, is going to get found, and we're going to be up in this area. So I'm not going to get dissuaded on this one. All right. I'll be handling the interview alone until later. He doesn't need to come in now. The Godfather. See how much time I have, but I'm gonna try to race through my questions, and then if Godfather is in the studio, I'll bring him in after I'm done with my questions.
Sounds good. And then people have questions. I think they're only going to be through Rumble or
Yeah,
YouTube.
can
X
we
isn't going to work.
where can we see the comments?
I see
Oh,
it
live
right
chat.
here.
Oh, I see it under live chat. I see Rumble and YouTube. Oh, they don't. X doesn't show here.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm going to try to steer people to YouTube.
Yeah, there were some earlier questions about UMAC that people posted this morning on the StreamYard link.
Mm-hmm.
So please put them in here again, guys. Unless you can
Yeah.
still access it. I don't know. It's probably we lost those. But UMAC, when will it move to Nasdaq? Isn't UMAC already in the Nasdaq? It's Amex. Oh, they want to move to Nasdaq? I don't even think that matters that much. But anyway, question on that. Ask Evans about Fang production. How many can they make per month? All right. So yeah, go ahead, guys, and put your comments in YouTube or Rumble. I guess you can put it as a we can try to monitor X if you put in a comment, rather than live chat. Like put in a comment underneath our post or something. Maybe we'll see
Yeah,
that.
I'll make sure to monitor all that.
Or just tag us or something. All right, it's 9:58 a.m., so we'll get started in just a minute here. Yeah, this is I think this is going to be bought up, this dip in MOB 245. You want to go back to yesterday's close after this news? Be my guest. All right. I think this is a buying opportunity right here on MOB as a swing with pretty big targets. And BYRN continuing to look good. All right. Well, we got to turn off our trading here in just about 60 seconds so we can head over to the UMAC interview.
All right, Ben. I'm peacing out. I'll be on the back end.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, let me just check how many people we now got on X. 474. All right, it's building up. All right, 9:59. So let me get over here and play our media. And I think I'm going to remove this. All right. And I'm going to go to our media. Alan, get ready. I'm going to bring you on in about 30 seconds. All right. And let's turn off our screen share for now. Okay. And Burns ready at 22:30, someone tells me. Beautiful. All right. Here we go. Are we 10 a.m. yet? I'm going to hit the button right at 10 a.m., 9:59 a.m., and let's go. Boom. All right, welcome everyone. It is 10 a.m. Some technical hiccups this morning over at our usual studio at StreamYard, so we had to use. There is Alan. Welcome, Alan. We had to switch. Sorry for the technical difficulties, Alan. We had to switch to Rumble Studio. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but thank God that they existed. Otherwise, we couldn't do our show today, Alan. Good morning. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, I hear you. All right, so it has been, exciting time for drones. We've been waiting for this interview for a while, so so happy you've been able to make it. A little bit of background about us: we've been invested in RCAT, Redcat, since the summer, July. It's been a big holding in our community. We're very bullish about it. We were waiting for that big SSR contract, which they won, and then they won that. And then we discovered you guys right after that. We said, all right, well, they won that. And we discovered that Redcat had some dealings with some drone companies. The three that we had identified was you guys, UMAC. There was also Paladine, which was some AI stuff. And then Ocean Power, OPTT. These are the three stocks we found that were kind of related to Redcat. And we were all over this before that big Donald Trump Jr. news, So our community's made out, had a big pullback, obviously. But I want to start, Alan, with Red Cat and the history of Red Cat. I know everyone probably wants to talk about Trump Jr., and we will ask about that. But the reason we got interested was because of Red Cat, because this was a spinoff of Red Cat. There seems to be some ongoing relationship there. So I wonder if you can just go back in history. And I don't know if you were there with Red Cat when the decision was made to split this off. Kind of tell us when you got involved. Why did Red Cat decide to spin, UMAC off into a separate company?
Yeah, so I almost feel like I should make time machine music or something. Like do do
Yeah.
do 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 do. If we go way back in time, I was the CEO of Fat Shark and originally did the combination of Fat Shark with Red Cat with Jeff before it even uplisted to the NASDAQ. So then I was the COO at Red Cat. Worked very closely with Jeff, the CEO there. We listed it to NASDAQ and we realized then that we sort of had to expand beyond consumer and really look at building the US defense base. So went and helped put together the Teal acquisition. I spent a lot of time out there helping scale production for Teal in Salt Lake, worked with, George and Jeff Hitchcock and the whole team to really get that going. So we were able to build that out. And in the period of building it out, I think about 2022, we said, okay, final drone assembly in Salt Lake City versus retail channel, these are different businesses. And in order to focus and really nail a vertical, this should be two companies. So we decided to sell our consumer segment, which was Rotorite and Fat Shark. And there was this sort of shell company, Unusual Machines, that was interested in buying it as part of a listing on the New York Stock Exchange. So I was not originally the CEO there. They'd asked me, but it didn't feel like the work at Red Cat had been done. We didn't have the factory running in Salt Lake and the other stuff. And it comes along a year and a half later, and the CEO spot was open. This is last December. And both boards of directors asked me to do the job. And I thought, okay, I've been a public company COO. Let's go screw up trying to be a CEO. It really, you just don't get that many chances to try to do an IPO. And so it was one, and I really liked the team. And I thought, okay, the factory was really built out at Red Cat. The team there was is humming along. So I didn't feel like I was able to contribute that much more at Red Cat. Like the flywheel was spinning, everything's working great. And so I said, okay, I'll take the job. And then we went and got the IPO done and acquired the assets. And it was really all around what we had learned at Red Cat, which is while there's a lot of these US companies building really great drones, if you look with like the Skydio news and other stuff, there's still a lot of supply chain dependencies. And so we said, hold on, we're selling a whole lot of products to consumers, a lot of motors, a lot of other stuff. What if we use this channel to then kickstart solving the next set of problems, which are the supply chain problems? And so that's what we've been going after. If you look, we have a formal partnership with Red Cat for the FANG program, which is FPV drone program that they're doing with supplier parts.
That was my next question. So thank you.
Yep. And now that they're doing that, we're also putting into bid on the motors for the Black Widow and some of the other components that they need. And we're hoping that we have a competitive bid and hopefully win that business after they figure out what their demand is.
And that's my next question. So that's what I'm trying to figure out is we interviewed Jeff Thompson after the SRR win. Wait, is it now? I got a brain block. Is it SSR or SRR?
SRR, short range reconnaissance.
Yeah. Okay. SRR.
I just remembered as SIR.
All right. So we had interviewed him and we had asked him if you're a parts supplier for the SRR. He said, no, not on the SRR. So I guess the question is, if they win additional contracts or NATO contracts or anything like that, are you in a position to help supply them on some other contracts besides SRR?
We're going to bid on all the slots they have, right? And I think any company like Red Cat, like AeroVironment, they should have redundant supply chains. So we're happy to go ahead and see what we can get in and win. But they have to make the right decision for their business. We know them well enough that I think we'll have a chance to bid on all the different components that we're making.
Okay, but would the government have to approve you as a supplier, or just Red Cat will say, hey, these are who we're using?
It's really convoluted. It depends on the product category. So the government has some products that are considered critical systems for the Blue framework, and those have to be approved by the DIU. Some of our stuff is, so we have a good relationship there. We can get our stuff approved. Other things like motors right now are not considered critical components, and so it would just be with who they select.
Okay, so that this takes us right into this conversation that's been going around online about your parts and where they come from. And there's been some discovery or criticism that your parts actually ultimately come from China. I guess first I don't know how it works. Maybe you can tell us. But are you really positioned to any of this government business with the current status of your supply chain, or do you need to change things around and start sourcing outside China to win these contracts?
Wow, there's a lot there. Let me unpack it and answer it, and hopefully I get it right. We have a retail channel, rotorite.com. We absolutely sell Chinese parts through that. We will buy T-Motor motors, or some of our Fat Shark goggles are manufactured in China. It's what our retail customers want, and it's where the price value is. For a different set of parts, like our Brave 7 flight controller that is made in Cleveland, that is certified blue by the DIU. The DIU, the Defense Innovation Unit, is a military organization, and they certify parts blue only after doing a cybersecurity and country of origin risk. So anyone saying that our blue material is made in China is making noise and saying that the US military audit is less accurate than what they've chosen to do. We passed the audit. Like, it's not self-certified. NDAA compliance is self-certified, where that could be true, but anything within the blue framework that the DIU puts up there has been audited by them. So in that case, we're able to scale any of those products, and there's no supply chain dependency on China. There are other products we're working on that we've sampled out that have not been certified blue that we believe will be. Those may or may not require more work, but we think we'll get a bunch more through in the near term.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers the question. Like, anything we
Yeah.
say is not Chinese is absolutely not Chinese, and the military had stamped it as not Chinese. Our retail channel, we absolutely sell Chinese parts.
Okay, so I'm just asking high level questions now. I'm going to bring on someone from our community, the Godfather, in just a few minutes. He's more technically oriented, so he
Yeah.
may do a deeper dive into some technical questions. But that was enough for me from a high level. So let's talk about the Trump Jr. thing a second here. I guess there's a couple very high level things hopefully you can comment on. Is when did this all develop, and did it have anything to do with the election?
And so it had nothing to do with the election. This
Okay.
started to develop quite a while ago. Our banker, Dominari Capital, their offices are in Trump Tower. And so, just as part of being in the same place in the early summer, there was just conversations about a drone company, and he had expressed interest. So it was coming along, and he was going to invest. And we see him and his role very much on the business side. He's very smart from a capital markets perspective. He's in 1789. He's got a very large audience of people that do want to sort of see American production come back. A lot of the things that we need to rise above the noise and become maybe more well known, because that's a pretty hard job in the microcap world. It fit all of that. So if you look, even the investment was done, the pipe was done prior to the election. And the election actually just made it a lot more complicated, because we don't matter as much as the big things in the world, but we're happy to have it resolve and have them join, and look forward to, uh, a lot of great business advice in terms of how to structure going forward, and alignment with investors that I think share our belief system.
All right, you're rolling right into my second question. Is I want to get a sense for his role. Is it simply, hey, Alan, I like what you're doing. I'm here if you need me. Or is it that, there was a big vision that you guys came together and you talked about, and he only joined if you kind of agreed on doing this big thing to become some sort of make a difference in terms of U.S. supply chain, and drones are going to be huge, and we're going to make this the preeminent company. Was there some sort of business plan and vision that you agreed to first, and that's what you're working towards? Or was it more like, I like you, Alan, I'm here if you need me, do your thing?
I think it was, our business plan was to change the American drone supply chain. So the big thing came from us internally. We're trying to become the number one US supplier in a market where there's not one. And so it was then from his end, it's much more here if you need me, here to help find aligned people toward the vision, rather than the other way around.
Okay.
And
Would his involvement, obviously, if you win a government contract, it's because you deserve to. It's not because he's there, right? It's a matter of advice, right? Maybe putting you in touch with the right people or whatever it is. But do you think he helps you achieve? You talked about, there was an interview you did over the weekend, and he talked about like you think it's going to be like within 2 years that things can really explode over the next 2 years, right? Um, does his presence help you achieve your goals over the next 2 years? And if so, how?
oh, so you see all the stuff with China getting kicked out of the marketplace. The DJI drone ban, the Autel drone ban, the conflicts in Ukraine and Israel. You're seeing governments and businesses want to move away from China. So there's this giant market void that's being created, tens of billions of dollars, and that creates this really powerful vacuum force that can allow companies to explode dramatically. That's where I believe this will happen in the next 2 years. We'll either win or somebody else will, because there's no product market fit. There's no market building. That all has already been done. There's just sliding in a replacement part because the other part was legislatively removed. So, yeah.
Yeah, as far as timelines go, though, Art Red Cat, I only got involved over the summer, but apparently they were working on this SRR thing for a couple years. There's a whole process of down selects and everything. It took a long time to get it. So I'm trying to understand from a timeline perspective. Realistically, we're sitting here kind of at the start, of things with your company. I mean, what are just I'm trying to make sure that people's expectations are correct, right? Is it possible that you can win, in 2025, let's say, some sort of big government contract, or is this something that's going to be a multi-year process to actually get any traction and win contracts?
So let me take a step backward. Our business is not structured the same as Red Cat. We're not building a final product on government contracts. We pretty much just sell the businesses. We sell to companies like Red Cat or AeroVironment or Skydio or all these other drone companies
Hmm.
that have a need for parts to fulfill the contracts they've already got. So
Okay.
if you look, contracts like the one Red Cat's won, or a lot of the stuff you've seen Anduril win, or the stuff you've seen AeroVironment win, that creates demand right now, especially if they're still using any Chinese mechanical components or having supply chain issues, or even need a second source. So the drone winning that has already happened is starting to create a marketplace for parts as they have to build out those products. The place where this is the most prevalent is in Ukraine. So in Ukraine, there's the same version of drone companies. There's about 20 of them that build the drones, the finished drones, like Red Cat does, for the Ukrainian armed forces. It was just announced yesterday that China's cutting off the parts supply to those. And they plan on building about 4 million drones in our size category. So if these drone companies exist, but their parts flow gets cut off, they immediately need other parts. It's not like we have to go through a government procurement issue. We have to go through a business relationship issue.
I think this is the crux of everything right now. So we better let's dig into this a little bit more, because I actually see that, and I don't think it's a coincidence right now. Your stock just popped right this minute, because that's the whole criticism that's been going around, is that, oh, how are you going to get government contracts because you get your parts from China? But you're telling me that in order to win business, it's not like a multi-year process where you're trying to win government contracts. It's a much just clear that up, because you said the government is involved as a part supplier to some extent, but it's different. It's a different process than kind of the process ARCAT went through to win.
Yeah, the government is the end customer, but we're not a prime contractor. We don't bid on the government contract. We bid on the part slots inside all of those companies that are doing it. And if you look in Europe, their parts are getting cut off. So they need an alternative supply of all these different parts. And I think that's the principal difference. We sell to businesses. We have a little tiny bit of government business because we need to have a relationship with the DIU to have our parts be on the blue list. Like, the military has to want them and we have to be a sub. But our primary business comes from other companies, not from the government. And those companies are already winning these drone contracts. And once you win a contract, you have to go figure out how to make it. And then as the rules around what you can and can't use change, you have to very quickly adjust your supply chain as a drop-in replacement.
Okay.
I mean, imagine you bake bread and somebody suddenly
Yeah.
goes, you can't use any GMO wheat. Well, you still have customers that want bread, and you better
Yeah.
go find somebody else to sell you wheat if you have a GMO wheat provider.
So
We're just that alternative.
and given obviously your relationship with Red Cat, I would think that you'd be a prime candidate, if they were to win other government business, to fulfill some of their parts needs. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Thompson's on our board of directors, the CEO of Red Cat. I helped build out the team there. I think we're going to be in a great position to go bid on all those parts.
Okay.
Everything we make that they need, we'll go bid on the slot. If we
All right.
lose the slot, well, that's on us.
So let me actually now I'm going to skip the other questions I had because I want to keep pressing on this point. I can see the market really cares about it. I want to bring the Godfather in. He's part of our Discord community. An awesome fundamental analyst here. I think I just hit accept there. Godfather, you there? Let me see. One
You might
second.
need to unmute and hit the video buttons. It's a new
Yeah.
format.
Although, yeah. Well, let me just. Rhett, can you check with? I hit allow over there. I don't know if he came in the studio and left. Rhett, I see you in the back end. Rhett, you there? Godfather, you there? Rhett, can you?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
hear
he
you.
is not in the room at the moment, so let me go see where he's at.
I hit accept. He moved. All right, so, all right, Godfather, come back. We got to talk about that. All right, so let me go back to my list of questions then. So actually, maybe just tell us quickly. You posted on LinkedIn, I guess, a week or two ago that you went to Mar-a-Lago for dinner. What was that about?
Yeah, that was just a little bit of a coincidence. I was going to meet with a lot of maybe not the most important folks that are being put in the room, but there's a whole layer of other people that go through the whole process of understanding the rules and where everything wants to be and really build the policy. And so we find it's pretty important to share our perspective on the industry as a supplier with everybody who puts in all the work to build the paperwork to bring it up. So it was really just to get to go to meet a lot of the new
So who did he meet there?
folks.
Did he meet President Trump?
I saw President Trump. I didn't meet him. I got to
Oh,
shake JD Vance's hand. Like it was cool, but I wasn't there for those guys. I was there to meet with some other folks that were,
no.
maybe a little less high profile.
Well, I'm sure that was an unforgettable evening.
It was
Um,
cool. It was cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it was neat for sure. You were like, oh, this is fascinating. It's like I'm a PhD in engineering. I came out of Silicon Valley originally. Like I'm just a big engineer. So the political things are still.
Oh.
You're like, oh, this isn't my world. This is neat. So it was cool. But there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of people that care about this that are trying to really understand what the marketplace and the policy and the supply chain look like. So I was happy to
Oh,
be there.
here he is. Here's the Godfather. He is the guy who's much more technical oriented than me. I don't know if he caught that whole conversation, Godfather, but the thing that really piqued my interest is basically this, that they're selling parts to Red Cat or other suppliers, other drone makers, and it's maybe not the same process to get approved via the government. I wonder if you can drill into that a little bit more before you get
Hey,
to
good
the
morning,
other
Alan. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. It's
Hey,
nice to meet you.
so we're aware of your assembly operations. I believe they're in Florida, correct?
Final assembly for drones are, but we do distributed stuff other places. But yeah,
Right, but can you just clarify? Currently, UMAC doesn't have any of your own manufacturing capability. Is that correct?
it really depends on what you mean by that. Like we do
Well, for the
final
most part,
assembly in
you're
Florida.
sourcing your products from other providers, correct?
Yeah,
For
distributed
example,
supply chain. It looks more
pardon me?
like Apple. It looks more like Apple than it does like a vertically integrated company. So yeah, we use a very diverse supply chain and work with a whole bunch of other manufacturers.
Right, but you're not producing any of your own parts.
We do final assembly of our FPV drones in house.
Right.
That's it.
So
Mhm.
going forward, so you had this great relationship with Ewing. They're manufacturing the Brave 7 controller, which you got to your design specs, correct? Which you guys
Yep.
sold on contract to European customers, ultimately being delivered to the Ukraine, right?
Yep.
So we're expecting then, I guess, that there'll be similar type arrangements for other products that are sourced through an American supply chain, through which you guys perhaps have the opportunity to win contracts per your design specs. And
Yep.
so I'm just curious, and that's really the foundational build out process for your B2B business, right? Your enterprise business.
Yep.
So where do you see the next big opportunity. You've had some success in the controller side. You talked about Moto controllers and motor speed controllers. Don't really know what those are, and FPV cameras. What's next on the priority list? Where do you see the big opportunities? Where do you think you guys get DIU support for the next sort of Blue UAS certified component?
So the place that we focused on initially, and we're still focused on, are what are called the critical components, the components that have to be Blue certified and non-Chinese. So that is the controller, the Brave 7, which is doing well, camera, the radio link, the ESC, which is the motor controller, which normally sits with the flight controller in a stack to sort of make the whole thing fly. So those are the initial components that we're really focused on. I expect we'll see those any day as we have more and more of them in process and just go through the iterative cycle of being sure it's right, our QC's there and all that kind of stuff. So we see that first, and then we see the next wave really being motors for us. That'll take a little longer. That's going to require us to build a lot more of the supply chain. And so we're also looking at what aspects of CapEx production are better for us to buy because we can get 100% utilization versus distributing or where things are. But I would expect everything on the critical components list particularly for FPV drones, and the real demand from that is coming from Europe right now. Like Ukraine plans on building about 4 million in this category. And so that helps with the initial spike. And then when you look, the DoD is considering a first-person view, an FPV program of record, or some other large vehicle probably in the next year or two, given the success of it. So if we can see the scaling and the testing, we'll be in a good position to be a provider for those components.
So that's a good segue into my next question. UMAC is known primarily for your Fat Shark FPV goggle. It's, I think, the #1 rated goggle for FPV, and currently it's all produced in China. I presume through the acquisition that you guys own all of the IP. So can you talk about the ability to port that supply chain over to Malaysia or Vietnam or wherever, so that, is there a possibility that similar product using your IP could be produced at military spec with non-Chinese parts to potentially win an FPV contract for the U.S. government?
Yeah.
Or other military?
So we're absolutely looking at that. I'd say if you were an FPV enthusiast, you'd probably say we're now #2 when compared to DJI, which did a really good job because of their video link. But we're actively exploring ways to transition some of the supply chain. The challenge there is consumer volume requires a competitive price point, where quality requires volume because your production processes, your tools, everything else get there. So we're trying to find a way to do it so that we don't have it so it's too expensive. So one of our driving thesis for why we think we can win the marketplace is we're trying to be cost quality competitive with the Chinese parts. I think a lot of people go, oh, let's do DoD stuff and then 3x it. And we think that if we don't 3x it, we enable the downstream supply chain to be competitive and actually serve the American people better and can scale faster to grab market share. So we're looking at 2 or 3 different ways to manufacture headsets, primarily in America. If you look, panels probably from Sony, because pretty much everything optical that you're going to buy that isn't Chinese is going to come out of Japan, mostly from Sony. They do the best subset supply chain. There's a little bit in Taiwan, but a lot of it otherwise is in China. And then in Rochester, New York, especially, there's a really good long history of doing optics and all the stuff that make lenses and everything else. So we're trying to figure out the best way to put that together. Now, it matters a lot less. So when you look from a fundamental business perspective, we'd love to solve that problem. But if you look at the Ukrainian conflict or how FPV is used in conflict in general, the drones are disposable. So it's one headset to 40 or 50 drones. So the volumes and ultimately the demand are stronger on the drone side to start.
So can we just talk for a second about your M&A strategy? Obviously, UMAC is in a good position now that you've converted all of your debt, debt-free. If I go through the capital structure and look at all of the dilutes, the only things left are the warrants from the PIPE correct? There's about
Yep.
630,000 warrants at $1.99. I
Yep.
presume they're good for 5 years, so I presume they're not exercised yet.
They require shareholder approval to be exercisable. So
Okay.
you'll see us probably file a shareholder vote to accelerate the exercise. Those are cash only. And
Right.
what we said for a long time is we're very, very open about how we plan our financing strategy. And those warrants are the last piece of what we had stated was our previous financing strategy.
And the other warrants, this approximate 692,000, that 226 that come from the IPO and Series C, have those been exercised as well?
Yeah, and that was all in the 8K that should have went out on Friday.
Okay.
Those were all callable above $3 a share. So as part of our financing strategy, we called them.
Right. So I get to a fully diluted number of around 15.9 million. If I fully dilute all of the dilutes, including the $1.99 warrants, I get to about 9.4 million in cash. You guys are burning only about $500,000 right now. I presume that's going to go up a bit as you transition the business. But you're in a great position. You've got obviously nicely valued public paper. So if you look at multiples for companies, sustainable multiples for companies, they're driven primarily by two things: growth and margin. And clearly we see the macro drivers for growth here. I'm just curious about how you see UMAC position in the marketplace in terms of margin, because if you can vertically integrate, maybe you acquire somebody like a Ewing or what have you, and you can provide full products like controllers and so on. I would think they're higher margin than if you just downstream integrate and acquire a carbon fiber machine shop, for example. So can you talk a little bit about where the M&A priorities are for UMAC? And I think UMAC is going to look very different in 12 to 15 months than it looks today. That's just my sense. So what you're seeing today with the consumer marketplace and so on, I think you guys grasped the main opportunity here is the U.S. desire to build a domestic supply chain, and obviously the military market is much, much larger. So can you talk a bit about that?
First, it sounds like you sit in our boardroom. So I would say you look at the world the same way we do in a lot of ways. There's some pieces to it. We're in a place where we'll have all those conversations. I think we've publicly acknowledged, and we will acknowledge, that we have to both organically grow and grow through acquisition, because there's no way we could organically grow to be in a dominant position in the marketplace. And what we see is a 2-year open window. And I think places that would make the most sense, you could see all the private companies on the blue framework. They would match our business model. They would all be people we'd want to talk to. I think our downstream supply chain for margin growth, those would all be people we want to talk to. So I think the assessment there is pretty accurate. One of the things we care very much about is when other people come into the room, we all have to want to go the same way. So one of the things we try to do a lot of work around is being sure that there's alignment amongst who the leaders would be when they all come in. So, where from a conceptual point of view, I think you have all the targets right. The first thing we really look for is sort of alignment, because when things go wrong, if everybody gets along, you solve it, you work your way through it, versus maybe creating conflicts or things that would ultimately make scaling challenging. The other thing that we're really looking for is what I call a paper swap. We're not looking for people who want exits. We're looking for people who want to exchange their holdings and whatever they have for equity and a part of something bigger, so we can all build together. So it's where we see alignment amongst those two things. And then the third condition is, your perception on our cash and our burn rate is something we take very seriously. And so we're not interested in acquiring a high burn rate. We're interested then in entities that either, as you said, improve our margins or come in with a cash performance profile that we think doesn't disrupt our fundamental business.
Alan, if I can step in here, Godfather, for a second. Is this something, when did he start the process of looking at acquisitions? Did he really only get into that once the stock price went up here after the Trump Jr. announcement, or is this something that's been ongoing for a while already?
You talk to people all the time because we work in the industry. So
Have they
until we
accelerated then? Have they because of the the value of your stock now? Is that recently accelerated? Like how near term might we get an acquisition or two? Is that something in the next quarter or two, or you
it really depends.
Okay.
Would I love to put people together and do it next quarter? Yes, right. If it makes sense, it makes sense. But we're still we're pretty careful not to screw up what's working. And I think that's one of the things that's important is we can't just rush and go do things. Now, I was the CEO at Red Cat Holdings when we acquired a bunch of companies, including Teal. So we've been through it. We've done the integration a bunch of times, all that sort of stuff. And given what we think about the marketplace, you should absolutely expect it. But timing on it is unknown.
Okay.
And really, until we got everything where we like it, and honestly, the news with the advisor and the share price change gets other people more excited about joining us too, because they feel like we're building momentum. And we really see it. We're trying to start an avalanche. And one of the coolest things about being in the public market is as you start to get people to consider you on a forward valuation rather than a past valuation, you can use that to sustain wild growth in a very positive way and build a really big company. And in hardware, it's a virtuous cycle. You're 1, 2, or out. And so I think we're just at the forefront of the chance to do that. And a lot of people see that opportunity, but it's now just being sure that everything's done in a way where everyone's comfortable, any sort of negotiation around price is right, how people fit is right. And we take putting in the time there up front very seriously. So doing that while still running the business, it just leaves timing on anything like that uncertain.
Fair enough. Sounds good.
Hey, Jeff, Alan, I just wanted to ask about the potential for access to non-dilutive funding. I think people are excited in this sector because they see what was done in semiconductors through the Jobs Act and all the funding that came to make sure that we had a domestic supply chain for semis. And, it's clear through the NDAA and the ASDA and the new CCP or new Countering CCP Drones Act that's coming in 2025. That funding is going to be available. I think you mentioned in a previous interview that the Office for Strategic Capital had a call out. There might be cheap loans there. In an interview that we did with Jeff at Red Cat, he talked about a Pentagon fund in the new year. Can you just talk about where you see avenues for non-dilutive financing potentially coming from? What sort of size might be available, and where UMAC fits in terms of priority to access some of those funds?
So we're always looking at it. I think that's one of the most interesting things we can do for everyone. The Office of Strategic Capital's call is for loans for 10 to 100 million to build out infrastructure. I think we're a good fit for that because we sell to other businesses. That call is supposed to be due in early January. I think there's several other potential buckets from RDT&E, military spending, to develop parts if they need it, which we do with partners. And then I do think some of where those buckets are outside of the general notion that I just stipulated, they're going to be a little uncertain until we see where the new administration lands at the end of January. And I think then you'll see budget allocation, because you're seeing the budget delay and you're seeing a continuing resolution right now because of the changeover in the government. So I think once that comes together, we'll understand what additional things like the CHIPS Act, et cetera, are going to exist for the supply chain for drones, and probably batteries and rare earth metals and some of the other things that we're now seeing become really important. So really, there's just DoD R&D funding right now for urgent stuff, and the Office of Strategic Capital's loan program as the immediate available options. And then, February, this could be a very different conversation.
Right. And I'm sorry if I missed this in the early part of the interview, because just getting on with the technical difficulties, but just going back quickly to your consumer business and the Rotor Riot marketplace and so on.
Yep.
My understanding is that under ASDA, we've got until the end of 2025 to replace a lot of the Chinese parts. And the vast majority of what's offered on that marketplace, for example, are Chinese parts and so on. So can you talk about the ability for UMAC to replace a lot of that. I know you're already paying, I think, 25% tariffs on those parts, and margins are, as you alluded to earlier, big deal when it comes to consumer pricing and making sure that things are available at price points that are competitive. So I think people are concerned about the ability to continue to access those kind of parts. Yeah,
totally agree. Our retail operation's been growing. It's been great. The whole team there is doing a wonderful job. We're going into holiday. There's several legislative acts that are causing us to pay attention there. The American Securities Drone Act doesn't impact us too much because that is just a federal dollars act. It says no federal dollars can be used to buy or fly Chinese drones. Most of our retail channel is not federal dollars. It's people flying in the backyard, going to race. It's consumer. So the ability to sell to that group, that doesn't impact. But I think much sooner, much more dramatic, are potential increase in tariffs under the new administration. If that happens, we're further ahead in building out our own products like the Brave 7 flight controller, doing other in-house things rather than some of our competitors who are solely sourcing from China. And so as tariffs come into play, it'll allow us to actually do a combination of be more price competitive than our competitors because we don't have to pay as much extra, and increase our margins through our retail channel for everything we build ourselves. So for instance, we plan on moving over our entire ready-to-fly build drones to our own flight controller and ESC made in the USA starting in January. We're looking at the process already of transitioning our products to be more and more domestically produced, sort of regardless of the rest of it, because that's what we think is the right thing to do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Godfather, you got anything else? I'm finished with all my questions.
You talked about the potential for like 20 million a month as an opportunity, and I think you're just trying to give a bit of a taste for what the volumes could look like coming out of further contract wins from the DoD or supplying parts to ultimate subsystems that are supplied to the DoD. And you talked about being demand tested for up to about 100,000 a month. Right now, I guess with your existing supply, I presume that's the Brave 7. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of gross margin metrics you see on products that you would potentially be in line to provide?
I think gross margin doesn't start out great.
Parts and components, and it's difficult to get a revenue figure, and then it's difficult to assess a margin as well.
Yeah, that's fair. If you look at contract, like what we're doing as a components vendor, if we're 20 to 30% margin to start, that's fine. This is right now, it's a market share function. Mm-hmm. So our goal, and really when we say that, like that's what the marketplace is, that is dominated by China right now. So I think it's hard to look at a company like ours sometimes and be like, okay, how are they going to become a monster in 2 years? Is the TAM there for it to be fulfilling? And it's mostly the TAM that really is there. The risk is scaling versus other folks, and nobody's really filling it. Margins for what we're trying to do, we're targeting 20 to 30% to start. And then as we scale and gain market share and hopefully win slots, we can look at doing things like vertical integration, et cetera, to improve margins. But the most important thing for us to do right now is hit our customers' required price point and quality point for us to win the volume in the market, and then use volume and future dynamics to improve margins. So I think you could expect in the next year us to look at 20 to 30% margins on our B2B stuff. And we try for 30% or better gross margins on our retail.
Okay. And have you guys completed your contract for the Brave 7? Is it an RFP type thing? Are there ongoing purchase orders that come through? How can we sort of get a sense for whether there'll be follow-on order volumes, similar to the contract that you guys have already shipped?
Yeah, it's more than just that contract. So we get orders every day, some consumers, some from other enterprises of all kinds of different volumes. We've actually had demand pull forward, so we're shipping 12,000 or 1,200 to 1,500 a month now, where our original expectations were 1,000 a month. So we're seeing continued orders, continued demand, and as people put them out there and use them, see disruptions to the other parts of the supply chain. We're getting people calling us all the time. There's no guarantee of future demand for what we're doing, but right now, with great relationships with customers. I think we'll continue to grow with our current customers. I think as we get new products on the Brave list, like DSEs and cameras, those customers are potential for immediate, when they come back and buy again, to maybe shift over chunks of their supply chain to that. And the success we're having with those customers is causing other people to reach out to us.
Great. I think I've covered it now, Ben. Are you there?
He might have locked up. So you want to pick up his next chunk of work? These questions are for live. You guys, this is hard hitting. I appreciate this. You guys just go right after it.
Yeah, we do. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, that was great. Yes, we are hard hitting. That's what we do here at Story Trading. We made some news. It looks like we saw. Every time we talked about China, the stock went down a little bit, and every time you gave some information that laid those fears, the stock went up. So that's obviously everything everyone's worried about is that right now. So hopefully some good information came out for everyone regarding your company, your stock. Alan Evans, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again in the future.
Thank you very much, guys. And please reach out anytime. I always appreciate trying to get shareholders and investors as much information as possible. So I really appreciate what you guys do.
Great. Sounds good. And also join us. You can join our community, talk to both us and our big Discord community with the Godfather at storytrading.com/Discord. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Al.